What's up guys, my name is Benny, welcome back to another video. I've already recorded this 2 times and the file got corrupted, so I'm going to try and do this as fast as possible. Sorry if that's not to your liking. If you haven't watched the other part of this video, first of all, thank you for 7 subscribers, very happy about that. I'm not going to say who the subscribers are because I don't want to name drop, that's kind of rude. I learned my lesson with one of my other friends. I'm not going to say his name. But I will say he was very mad at me. He called me at like 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. So there's that. Other than that, welcome to today's video. Thank you for clicking on this or tapping on this. Anyway, basically today's video is just gonna be me doing the second part to the other video that was ouch. Thanks for 7 subscribers. For the next goal, it's going to be 12 subscribers, because I need at least 4,000 subscribers to even earn, like, $1. So I just want to say, thanks for 7 subscribers. Let's try to get to 12. Maybe then we'll start going to higher goals, okay? Alright, so let me just think real quick. Where did we leave off of? Oh, yeah, so one of my arms was pinned out, like, to my side, and the other one was, like, right in front of me, and it hit the inflatable wall so hard. The pressure from it started at my wrist, and it just went straight down. It was like a stinging pain. It went straight to, like, my shoulder, and then it zoomed back down. It, like, faded back down, and it stayed in my wrist. Like, I thought it was just gonna go away, but it stayed in my wrist. And suddenly, like, it just happened. I didn't even know it was happening. And before it just started happening, tears, like, started streaming out of my eyes. Like, I couldn't even see. I tried to walk to my dad. I was barely talking. But we went to this nurse lady who was at, like, the end of the very beginning, or the entrance to the con, and she looked at it and she was like, I think you're okay. I'm gonna give you a bandage, but you probably just sprained your arm or your wrist. And I was so happy. You would not even know unless you've been in some sort of situation like this. By the way, if you have, comment down below. I would really appreciate that. I like getting comments and reading them. They're so interesting. Some of you guys are just so great. Anyway, so what ended up happening was we went home, which was really sad, but we went home. That con was probably one of my first cons I've ever been to. No, that was the first con I've ever been to. Let's talk about the last injury that is actually mine in this video. Before I start talking about other people's injuries that aren't mine. Alright, so this injury is about a lot of blood, so if you have a phobia of that, you might not like this one. So I was running. Well, I wasn't running. I was climbing something. Not always. I kind of mix those two up a lot. But I was at this theme park where you, I guess I could say the name of it. I'm going to say Funtopia. That was probably one of the funnest places I've ever been to. It is called Funtopia. We don't stay there for as long. So I was at this theme park, and I was climbing up this little, rope thing. And there were tons of, these little rope splinters coming out. They were really not that fun to touch. This was one of the things that I have never been on, or had never been on. This was the first and only time I've been on there. Anyway, so I reached for, this area that had so many splinters coming out of it, and they just sort of, went into my palm, and it was so painful. I haven't really told anyone about this other than, my mom and my brother, although they probably don't remember. But it was probably one of the worst pains that wasn't me breaking a bone in my life that I've ever, had to deal with. Alright, and the last injury, or the 2 last injuries in this one, are 2 friends of mine. Let's come up with a fake name for this guy. Daniel. His name is Daniel in this story. So he is playing tag with a couple of his friends. I'm watching this. I'm an introvert. I don't like to run around. I also don't like to, I don't like to be active, okay? That has nothing to do with being an introvert. It's just how I feel. I hate sports. I did an iRant episode on that, I think. speaking of, I'm gonna do one of those tomorrow. I know I haven't been doing it lately, but that's because I have no topics to talk about. Anyway, he trips on this asphalt area, and his knee just sort of hits the ground. It looked so painful. You could see his bone. Okay, so this guy, he's running, he trips, his knee hits the ground. Well, he sort of like he jumps because he was jumping over something, I think, and the knee is the thing that he lands on. And somehow, some way, the bone is now showing, okay? And all these little kids in like 3rd and 4th grade are traumatized. We're all traumatized, even though I've seen tons of shit like that before. Anyway, we're all traumatized. Or I was traumatized before that even happened. Let's just keep moving on. So this guy, our nurse comes, he gets put into a wheelchair, he's crying, he's like screaming. It looked really painful, and that's just me from like an outer area. That's just me from like looking at it from my perspective. Imagine what his perspective was. By the way, shout out to you if you're watching this. You probably know who you are. I'm sorry that I had to use your story in this if you're watching me. I'm sorry. I just needed something to talk about, and you were one of the first things that came to mind. Anyway, he gets picked up. He sits on this wheelchair. I forgot what it was called for a second. He sits on this wheelchair and he gets pushed to like the nurse's office. No one's allowed to go into there after that, so we don't know what happens. And it's also a Friday, so we don't know what the fuck is going on with him. Was he gonna be okay? Is he gonna go to the hospital? What's gonna happen? This was in my old school, which I hated, by the way. So, anyway. This kid, he gets put in a wheelchair, he goes to the nurse's office, and we don't know what happens to him from there. We never see him again for the rest of the day. And after the weekend, he comes back with this huge motherfucking, like, cast on his leg from, like, his ankle to his knee and up until his hip, and he can't even move his leg. Someone needs to help him sit and stand up. He's not even allowed to bend his knee because of that horrible injury. No one even knows how it looks or what happened after he went out of the school. So, my biggest question is, what do you guys think happened to him? What do you guys think happened to him? Anyway, that's the end of that story. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this last one is my grandmother. She had this oxygen tank because she couldn't breathe without it because she smoked for a long time. It's a long story. Anyway, this oxygen tank was supposed to be, it's super heavy, by the way. If it falls by any chance and it opens, then you're fucking screwed. It'll shoot up like a rocket, and who knows where it'll go from there. Anyway, that's not what happened to her. This mini rocket, she drops it on her toes, like on her foot. Not on her toes, but it was like, you know that little ridge that's like on the edge of your foot? It's on the top, but it's on the edge. It's by your big toe. She dropped it on that little bone. And that was such, like, I didn't know what to do. She had broken a bone. The edge of the tank had gone, like, into her foot. It looked so painful. There was a lot of blood. She went to the hospital. She went to a lot of hospitals before she passed, but she went to the hospital for that, and we were all really scared. I mean, my mom wasn't scared. She was just really worried. But me and my brother, we were scared shitless. Like, we didn't know what was going to happen. They're going to have to amputate her? I mean, we were young. We didn't know what a bandage was. I mean, maybe we did. Anyway, she got back. We drove her to the hospital. Well, actually, I don't think we drove her. We might have just been in the ambulance with her. Anyway, she goes to this hospital. She gets this bandage. And she's, like, in so much pain when she gets home. And she gets this bottle of pain medicine. And she's in so much pain. This was probably the worst injury that isn't like breaking a bone related that I have seen anyone go through, like firsthand, like looking right at it in real life. It was probably one of the worst experiences she's ever had, other than her dying, which is probably the worst experience she ever had. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I know we've dealt with some terrible, kind of scary topics in this part of the video, but that's okay. That's sort of my entire channel. Later today, I'll be Later today, I'll be playing more Minecraft or Skyblock. You guys can probably vote on that in the upper right-hand corner in the iCard. Thanks for watching. That's the end of the video. Bye-bye.